so it's very interesting as a parent to think about NVC in a parenting context, because how do I socialize Dante differently? How do I come at this differently without making him wrong? If right wrong is not helpful for connection, I definitely want to connect with him, right? He's 2 years old. So the other day, I was thinking a lot about Marsha Rosenberg says, just share impact, share how you feel, and share what needs are up for you, and let them experience that, your feelings and your needs. And that is enough education. You don't have to say, no, bad boy or whatever, right? Because bad is a judgment and it's an evaluation, right? So the other day, Dante looked at me, he like this, and ran straight for the street. And I was like, Dante, like, and I ran after him, Dante, and I grabbed his shirt because it was a busy street. And this was not a moment that I was like, would you please feel okay about coming back? Like,
yeah.
No way that I'm gonna sit down and make a request in that moment, right? This is a demand. Like I'm physically keeping you from running in the street, right?
Yeah.
But once he was safe, my adrenaline was still going, and it would have been very easy to start like saying, that is bad, do not do that, that's bad, because I was really scared. But instead, I said, I feel so scared. I felt so scared, baby. So scared when you did that. I want you to be safe. I love you. I want you to be safe. So scared. Please don't do that, you know? And that was a way of interacting with that situation without evaluating it. I was just sharing impact and telling him my needs, what I needed. I needed him to be safe. And he was so cute because I was very urgent in my tone of voice. He was like, nah, 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 you know? And then about 5 minutes later, he was like, no running, street, fast cars, no big ouchie, no running, no.
Wow.
I love you, mama. So sweet. And I just thought, yes, oh my God, it works. Like we don't, even in that moment where I was so scared, I still didn't have to punish him. And that was amazing because Marsha Rosenberg says, okay, by the end of today, no more punishment, okay? By the end of today, I'll show you techniques you can use where you don't need to punish anymore, because punishment is a form of violence. All you need to do is share impact. And
amazing.
And that was one of the scarier moments I've had recently.
I'm sure.
So it was really cool to see that it sunk in, even for a 2-year-old. So imagine how these things can work for an adult, right?
100%.
There's no
reason to intelligent.
Label them, name call, or anything. Share impact.
That's amazing, because it seems too that the way he processed that was he got it for himself rather than feeling like he did something wrong or that you were angry with him. Like,
yeah, it took out a layer of complexity, right?
Yeah.
For me, it seems far more efficient. Like, oh, she's scared. Why was she scared? Maybe something to do with the cars, right? Because I spelled it out for him. I was like, those cars are fast, big, ouchie, big. Because he doesn't know the word death or like, he doesn't.
Worse.
But then he reflected it back and it was, it's just far straighter of a road there is without looping in, oh, I'm a bad boy and mama's mad also. Those two things just weren't there. So it was simpler,
That's an intense example, but it's a really good one. Yeah.
But I did make a demand. I physically pulled him back, right? I mean, there are moments for demand, but the other side of it is when you don't have to, try to go with a request, right?
I love that because, like exactly what you said, you just removed that second layer, that other layer of complexity that would have been added to that situation. And it's like, that's, I mean, I feel like that can be applied so directly to teaching and being within a classroom setting, because there's so many situations where a child or a student just, they're just trying something out for the first time. Maybe they have no idea the implications, or like you said, that it's right or wrong. They're just trying something, but then it all depends on how the teacher frames the language in that situation that will create the learning for that child. Like, sense.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's quite interesting. Um, Labels don't really help very often. If people don't like being told what they are, you know, you're so like immediately it's like, what am I? You know, it's like your you statements are instead of I statements. So if you can say I feel this, or I felt scared, or I felt whatever, sharing impact, it's a lot more, it's actually less arguable because they can't argue what your feelings are, right?
That's so true.
If you're in conflict and like you say, I'm experiencing this, it's so much more to the point than you're a this and you're a that and you're disrespectful and you're that, you know, like, no, I'm not disrespectful. I don't identify as a disrespectful person. And you guys are talking about that all of a sudden instead of what's the actual point. And we're spending all this energy on the thing that isn't even the heart of the matter, right? Which is what's up for me or what's up for you. But anyway.
Yeah, that makes me think of, did you ever read anything by David Hawkins? He wrote, what is the name of that book? Oh, I can't remember the name of it right now, but he wrote many books. He used to live in Arizona. He passed away a few years ago, but he basically says that truth is like, when truth is spoken, it can't be argued with. Truth is sort of like absolute. It's like when you hear truth, you know,
Yeah.
it just can't be argued with. So
Yeah.
I think that makes perfect sense what you're saying. If you state your truth, how can anyone really argue with how you're feeling? You know, it uncomplicates the situation like completely.
It's amazing. It uncomplicates it. And it's quite helpful because before I found NVC, I found myself like trying to make up rules that made sense of life, and everything was always an exception. Like it was very hard to make a set of rules that encompassed everything. So it got very complicated. Like, well, you shouldn't do this. Oh no, and what about this? Oh, except in this situation, and then you should, and then you should, and then you should, and then it was like, instead of just I feel this and I don't actually know why. You know, being transparent. Sometimes you don't know what the trigger is, or like I felt funny in that moment, and I don't know why, because I really value your self-expression and your connecting with other people, but in that moment I wanted to feel special and I have no idea why, but that was what came up. And I'm not saying you should have paid more attention to me, right? For example, and so the person I was talking, this is a real example. I was saying that we were in a situation, and I was saying we were talking about it later, and I was saying I don't know what happened. I just felt like I wanted to feel special, or something, and that wasn't. He said, "Oh my God, absolutely, absolutely," and it was so well received, rather than me saying, you shouldn't have been talking to that person right then because blah blah blah. Be like, what are you talking about? I can talk to whomever I want, you know. And it's just a world of difference on how he receives it.
It's honesty. You're being honest with others, but you're also being honest with yourself. You're not creating a story or a situation or lashing out because of the feelings that you're having. It's like self-acceptance for what you're feeling, and then you're sharing it honestly with someone else. You're being very vulnerable. It sounds like it requires vulnerability.
Yes, vulnerability. Oh my God, Brene Brown is like the queen of vulnerability, right? And she said, vulnerability feels like courage and sounds like truth.
Wow.
Because it takes so much courage to be vulnerable. And when you are, your truth comes out. It's just amazing. And she said, it may be uncomfortable, but it is never weakness. Never weakness. Because vulnerability is the birthplace of intimacy, love, understanding, creativity, and belonging.
Wow.
It just gives me chills, that quote. I love it.